when you have a pension, your investments can be looked at in two different ways. In one way, you could say, hey, my pension is already considered protection. Many people say you need a 60% stock portfolio with a 40% bond portfolio, and that's what every retiree should do. You may hear that. That's a cookie cutter way of doing it. It's a good guide, but maybe not necessarily always the case. But those with pensions could say, hey, that my 40% protection, which is considered the bond portion, I've got my guaranteed income stream coming in from my pension. So if you're telling someone a 60-40 without a pension, if I can take out my pension, then, I don't probably need a 60-40. Maybe I can do 80-20. And that is absolutely true. You could take on more risk if you want to, if you have a pension. Now, the question is do you want to take on more risk, right? More risk means typically more reward. So that could be an advantage of doing so. But you really have to question, what do you want to see done with your life savings? Now, I'm also going to play the opposite side of that to say that if you have a pension, $1 million plus saved, you probably also have the opportunity to take on less risk if you really want to. And the big reason is because you don't have to get double-digit returns anymore. You can live with a satisfied 3 to 5% return, keep up with inflation, and you could be good to go moving forward, and you could still have everything protected. So when it comes to your investments, you got to understand your risk tolerance, you got to understand your income needs, and any big expenses that you're going to have coming up here, but also legacy goals. There's a lot that plays into this decision. The second item we look at on the investment planning side is to make sure you're eliminating unnecessary fees. So what do I mean by that? Well, you've probably been with an advisor before, maybe you've been DIY investing and you understand how this works, but a lot of people will push mutual funds as an example. Now, there's nothing necessarily wrong with mutual funds. Some have done really well, but most mutual funds do not outperform the market. And so based on that, you could be paying an excessive fee for really no value. And also, if you're paying an advisor a management fee, that could be an additional fee on top of that. Now, if they have a legacy holding of a mutual fund, which maybe has a large gain and we don't want a taxable event, then of course we'll make sure we hold that for them and look at ways to, divert that over time and look at, ways to reset that or sell off losses and do some tax loss harvesting on that and some other strategies to really be efficient. We may turn off their DRIPs, which is a dividend reinvestment for their dividends, and making sure we don't pile on and instead use that to go somewhere else to diversify a little bit more, sell off losses somewhere else to offset the gains so we can diversify out of that single stock. Vanguard even does a study when it comes to this investment planning pillar that if you just work with a professional investment manager, and that's the next point here is professional investment management, is you can typically do 1% to 3% better than DIYing it. And we have so many people that come to us and say, wait, you're charging the same or less than our current advisor, but you're doing 4 more pillars than what our advisor is doing. And the answer is yes. And the answer is because we want people to get what they deserve with their retirement savings. So hopefully you are seeking that or already have that.